Good evening, and welcome to Medicine for Your Soul. It's a program about flower essences, and I am your host, Carolyn Jones. I'm a holistic health practitioner who specializes in acupuncture for the ear seeds, not a protocol, an herbalist, aromatherapy, flower essences, reflexology, sound therapy, and spiritual care are all under the umbrella of my practice. I can be contacted through my website at www.behealed.info. I've authored a couple of books. My first one being Pick Up Your Bed and Walk, a self care guide to improve health, incantations, and the book that we're actually studying throughout this series entitled Medicine for Your Soul, Essential Oils, Hydrosols, and Flower Essences. So let's talk about the formula because the book represents a formula of flower essences, essential oils, and hydrosols. And I'll define those for you. You may be familiar already, but for those of you who don't know, essential oils are highly concentrated plant extracts obtained through distillation or cold pressing. They're used for their therapeutic properties and they support emotional well being, skin health, and physical balance. Hydrosols are water based. They're aromatic waters produced during steam distillation of plants for essential oils, and they do contain small amounts of essential oil compounds along with water soluble plant components. Essential oils have a distinct scent. Hydrosols may have a faint scent. They're gentle, as I mentioned, water based, and they're also used for mental, emotional, and spiritual support. Now, flower essences have a wonderful history behind them in that they're also water based and they were introduced by Edward Bach, who was a British doctor, bacteriologist, homeopath, and spiritual writer. He was best known for developing the Bach flower remedies. Bach flower remedies are a form of alternative medicine and they're inspired by classical homeopathic traditions. He noticed that people with similar emotional and personality traits tended to develop similar illnesses. So that led him to believe that disease originated first in the mind and emotions, not the body. His in depth research was rooted in his spiritual worldview, and he had a strong intuitive sensitivity. So the healing system he developed used the energetic imprint of flowers, and they're gentle, non toxic, and accessible to everyone, regardless of the medicine or any medications you may be on. In his research, he identified 7 categories of fundamental conflicts which prevent us from being true to ourselves. They are loneliness, oversensitivity to influences and ideas, despondency or despair, overcare for the welfare of others, fear, uncertainty, and insufficient interest in present circumstances. Sort of like a ostrich putting its head in the sand effect. The Flower Essence Society is a nonprofit educational organization founded by Patricia Kaminsky and Richard Katz in 1979. And the organization is dedicated to the research, preparation, and teaching of flower essence therapy. You can actually get a certification through FES. So, how is it made? The traditional sun infusion method requires harvest dew fresh flowers. You float them in water and and you expose them in direct sunlight for several hours to extract the vibrational imprint of the flower to affect a person or animal on a subtle, non chemical level. So, how do you use them? You can use them orally with drops of pasteles. Pasteles are like little gummies diluted in water. Topically, using your pulse points, wrists behind the ears, over the heart. You can also use it in your bath. I love putting them in my bubble bath and in foot soaps. I've done that as well. Compresses, creams, oils, and lotions. And by the way, it does come in the form of a lotion. You can also inhale through steaming, like you would eucalyptus when you're trying to clear out your lungs. And what the book, Medicine for Your Soul, is all about, misters. So you can use flower essences as a mister, you spray, like your favorite perfume. And I thought it might be interesting to add scent to it and the benefits of hydrosol. So, hence the recipes. Flower essences are water based, safe for children and pets, not contraindicated for pharmaceutical medications. Now, before we get started, I'd like you to take this moment to breathe. Be fully present in your skin. Feel your feet, your ankles. Feel the blood coursing through your calves, also known as your second heart, your thighs, and your pelvic area. Acknowledge your gut, also known as your second brain. Have you ever had a gut feeling? Be present in your precious body. Check in with your heart. Is it broken? Have you heard of broken heart syndrome? In some cases, it can actually be fatal. It's time for healing. How is your throat feeling? Are you feeling blocked in this area? Have you honored your tongue? Do you speak well of yourself? Are you using your eyes to stabilize your awareness? And is your third eye activated? Let's take some time to tap our third eye. And is your crown open to receive the divine? Take a deep breath and invite peace into your being. Exhaling through your mouth. So today's topic is about abundance. And uh, thanks to my wonderful friend Robin, I decided to dedicate a poem to each segment of this program. And this one begins like this: I save everything except fear. My pulsating breath wraps around my lungs and flees discovery. It moves through passages of silence bolstered by promises of longevity. Pausing between the ebb and flow of life, I measure the space between my heartbeats, discovering mercy in unfinished answers, blessing the generosity of consecutive mornings. My cup overflows with names I've forgiven, rough roads that could not break me, innocent seeds planted in the dark, sprouting trust in spite of careless tending, relying solely on the tests of time. I count my riches in unseen currencies, ancestral hands steadying my back, pregnant prayers traveling faster than doubt, giving birth to my placenta rich gratitude. So, I give without feelings of loss and receive without grasping. My abundance circulates, meanders its way to the corners of my heart that remain spacious enough to bless the unforgivable. A treasure chest of joy overflowing, peace, all encompassing, and life everlasting. I hope you enjoyed that. With that being said, uh, and speaking of life everlasting, it's my joy and honor to remind you of Octavia Butler, one of my favorite science fiction writers. Octavia Butler viewed abundance not merely as material wealth, but as a practice of intentionality, adaptation, and shaping a sustainable future through positive obsession. Her works emphasize that true abundance is created through community resilience, environmental adaptability, and the cultivation of inner resources to handle change. She believed in applying intense focus in order to achieve long term goals and argued that obsessive, purposeful work can create necessary change. She was a pioneer of Afrofuturism and the first science fiction writer to win a MacArthur Genius Grant in 1995, and the first Black woman to win both Hugo and Nebula Awards. Through her writing, she sends a message that abundance is found in adapting to rather than fighting inevitable change. A philosophy centered on humanity's ability to shape its own destiny and seed the future, even in scarce conditions. In Parable of the Sower, abundance is found in building communities that cooperate and share, navigating a broken world through sustenance, kindness, and adaptability. She was extremely prophetic and wise, and she also warned that focus on material accumulation is fleeting unless accompanied by the ability to adapt and build community, or else even what one has will be taken away. Finding resources where others do not, as with gathering acorns to make food, Miss Butler symbolizes that abundance is often a matter of perspective and active engagement with one's environment. And that's so true. A lot of times one can look at their life condition and it's according to their perception. They can either see wealth, as in health is wealth, or they can see poverty, as in uh, dilution of spirit, not recognizing the miracles with which they're surrounded. So, how do you define abundance? Do you think abundant thoughts? Do you invite abundance with your words? Do you invite abundance with your actions? In the world of flower essences, white borage stands out in that it's associated with emotional support, especially in times of stress or grief. It opens the heart to healing and creates balance in times of overwhelm. The essential oil for this mist recipe is vetiver, which fosters a sense of stability and protects against negative energy. It also enhances meditation and is grounding and calming. White sage is the hydrosol in this recipe, and it purifies and cleanses, clears stagnant negative energy, invites peace and tranquility, and creates a deeper connection to the higher self. I often have conversations with my friend Jennifer Ann Tucker, who is a flower essence practitioner. And the statement she had to offer is this when I asked her to speak to the community through a quote. She said, "Flower essence remedies give me creative freedom of choice. They invite a middle way of balance that nurtures virtues and shines light on the discordant disharmony interfering with our soul's purpose." So, what that means to me is that in times of distress, and we all have them, flower essences can be your soul partner in helping you appreciate your virtues and the world of magic as it relates to our lives. We are miracles. We're walking miracles. And flower essences also help bring to light, shines the light on the issue at hand that would block our path to our soul's purpose. And what we want to do with flower essences is actually remove blockages. And they really have the ability to do that. I want to backtrack to the questions, the thought questions that I presented to you about how you define abundance. Do you define abundance as your health, or you define abundance in solely a materialistic view, how much you can acquire, how much you're surrounded with? You might even define abundance as family, you know, family love or a significant other, the love of a significant other. Love is certainly a form of abundance. And in thinking abundant thoughts, do you say, I have, or I am grateful, or do you focus on what you don't have? Because what you focus on is what you attract more of. So you have to be careful about that. So, in inviting abundance with your words, you can create affirmations, and these mantras could include I am abundance, I receive freely. A lot of people have a big problem receiving. They'll give you the shirts off of their back, but they don't know how to receive help. It's important to ask for help when you need it. Uh, Support does not always have to come in the form of finances. It could come in the form of resources, and we may need to even consider bartering as a viable way to survive. Do you invite abundance with your actions? Like, do you act as if you are prosperous? That doesn't mean to go out and spend frivolously and deplete your resources. What that means is, how are you helping others? Because the help that you offer, if you're dealing with people who believe in reciprocity, it will come back to you. To give blindly is very dangerous, because if you're in the company of takers, you'll find yourself exhausted and depleted. So if you can find, and I often speak of your tribe, if you're a giver, you need to find a tribe of givers so that you can experience reciprocity in its finest forms. So going back to having the words to express that would invite abundance, I love to quote Louise Hay. That's why I share this quote every week. And if you would, please take the time to repeat it after me. I expect the very best in life, and I allow myself to receive it now. Let's say that two more times. I expect the very best in life, and I allow myself to receive it now. Now say it like you mean it. I expect the very best in life, and I allow myself to receive it now. So, if you would, use your camera phone to pull up this QR code book, this flip book of Medicine for Your Soul. That way, you can have a guidebook as we go through the different recipes this year and make your own plant medicine. You can do it. It's very simple and it's an investment in yourself. I'd be interested to see if anyone does that over time. And in the meantime, I thank you so much for listening and being willing to learn something new and looking forward to seeing you next time. And the topic, let's see what our topic will be next time. We'll be talking about empathy. All right? So, until then, and remember, it's the first and third Wednesday at 6 o'clock of every month. Be blessed. Thank you.